Good morning, everyone. Live from San Diego, Whale's Vagina, Clownifornia, or California, whatever one you. They're both the same thing.
Live.
Wow, I can hear myself.
So
what is that? Echo.
Clown.
We are professionals, ladies and gentlemen.
You know, it's because he hasn't been on a Nerdrotic channel in a long time.
I do not know why you're coming through my speakers, because you're set up to come through. Oh, my speakers.
Wow! As forgotten to stream.
Welcome to a very special Nooner Real BBC.
The real Nooner.
The real Nooner. And it's not even close to noon where I am, baby. It's 8 a.m. Woo. We're waiting on Mark Millar. Az, say hi. You know Az.
Hi. How you doing, Gary? Pay us $1.
No, you wanted $2. I'm fine with paying you $1. You wanted $2, and that's a bridge too far. Okay.
Yeah, but then you said you can settle for was it 80 cents?
75 cents. I said I would settle for 75 cents because I'm overpaying you anyway.
So I left.
So you left.
Yeah.
You left.
Never to be seen again.
Yep.
You're getting paid?
$1? Yeah, right? That's what I was saying.
What do you think that bowl of rice is?
Dude, all the emails I got from everybody in FNT, we go, wait a minute, you fucking paid Az, you piece of crap.
You gave him
now
$1.
They all quit. It's just going to be me.
Yeah.
Friday.
Oh no, I just saved myself $10.
There you go. I know. Hey, got to cut back where you can. Times are tough in this Biden economy.
Yeah. That's one comic nowadays,
dude. Like this. Ooh, yeah.
Boy.
I bought it at a comic store, Southern California Comics, here in San Diego. That's where I bought it. Hi, X-Ray Girl.
Hi. It feels so weird to think that you are like awake at this time in the morning.
It definitely does. My alarm went off like 2 hours ago, and I got out of bed an hour ago. So then I had to set everything up. I haven't even. I'm going to order my coffee while I'm on the stream. Be that bougie. We're waiting
I'm
on.
gonna have a coffee delivered to me while I'm on stream.
That's what I'm doing right now.
Hey, I can delivery.
Get Mark to hobble in.
Hi. Yeah, you got a guy who you got a peg leg
right now.
He can slide. Mark can slide around that house, man.
Dude, he can crawl like crazy.
Army crawl too, if need be.
What if it's like 4 o'clock in the morning and you went for a wee and Mark's doing that, and it just looks like a ghost from a nightmare movie?
Oh my god, like a Japanese scary movie.
Yeah, and you just like like that. It's just like no, it's just
I probably kick him and run away. Stranger things have happened.
And then behind you is just like catching up behind you. He's gliding across the laminate.
He's too sleepy, he can't even speak. Grunts only.
Do you ever feel like putting carpet in certain rooms to slow him down?
You ever think about hiding his leg just to fuck with him?
He's not like a Roomba.
You do that. Yeah.
But carpet's gonna slow him down that much.
A little bit. He'll fuck up with his 0 to 60.
Oh my god. My house is not a skating rink. Oh my god.
You keep bringing Az on the show. Az is literal cancer to entertainment, says John Doe with the small penis.
It actually says that?
Yeah, it says John Doe has a small penis, is a crybaby, drinks soy milk.
It's a really long name.
Yeah.
Fine.
Jealous, mad, Pope. It's quite a long, it's actually a long name.
I'm surprised you remember it.
Yeah, because it also has called John Doe, because if I give my real name, you'll know who I actually am, because this is an alt account, because I'm a fake-ass, phony-ass bitch. That is such a weird name. Just like, wow, just could have called Bob Smith. You know?
Yeah.
But, I guess.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry, I was ordering my coffee.
No, it's fine. We're making up our own entertainment.
We could start making doing Sunday Fun Day stuff. Let's get Once
Ooh.
Human on again.
Yeah, let's go.
Oh!
I wonder if Mr. P's having withdrawals. He hasn't mentioned.
He definitely is.
Actually, he has. I was going to say he hasn't mentioned it yet. No, he has. So, how are you enjoying Once Human? I'm like, yeah, really liking it. It's just like, yeah, it's so good.
Yeah,
Can't believe it's free.
He probably
does.
dreams about it all the time.
He'll be dreaming about paint tonight.
I'm gonna read some super.
It's not a euphemism.
No, it's not you. He'll be literally dreaming of paint.
Zach Muffin for $20. Says 2.5 days of crazy driving from New York, and I missed you guys by an hour last night. Oh no! Well, you're with Garrett, who made the meetup about 9:00. After all the hype I put in, that felt pretty shitty. Almost as shitty as some of the streets around here looked and smelt like at 1 a.m.
Wow.
Oh, that's brutal. Hey, we'll be in if you're at the con, Zach, we'll be there. I'll be there Saturday at Big Man Comics booth to sign at noon. At noon, I'll be there. So if you can get in, we'll see you then. Sorry about that, man. Yeah, driving around here sucks, and this city sucks now. It's got that. It smells like San Francisco. I'm like, oh, I'm in an American city. As I smell urine. You ever hear the Bill Hicks routine?
Oh yeah.
Like,
Well, Bill. I know Bill Hicks,
yeah.
Of course.
He's all the smell in New York. He's all, is that urine? Is that the smell of urine on a dead guy?
Oh,
yeah, it's what San Diego smells like now.
I
Chris
was in Manchester on Friday, and it was decent. You know,
it wasn't on fire.
It wasn't
was
on
Leeds.
fire.
Sorry.
Yeah, that was Leeds, and I didn't smell piss everywhere.
Yeah. Well, I was in North County, San Diego, where it's really nice, but not down here. It's a little LA now. It's little LA. Hey, I'll be down in San Diego this afternoon. Will you be inside the con today? Yes, I will be inside the con today, hoping to meet up. I didn't get tickets this year for the con and seeing Deadpool tonight, so I'll miss the meetup. We'll see Deadpool. I'm seeing Deadpool tonight too. I'll be honest with you. It's easy to get press pass. It's easier to get press passes than actually buy tickets to San Diego nowadays. That's a fucking truth. Just start a YouTube channel and a podcast and just submit for press, and you have a better chance of getting tickets inside than actually buy. I think you can buy them secondhand now, but the prices are stupid. Just come and hang out outside. Dawnbreaker for 20. To Mark and crew, I highly suggest you read or watch One Punch Man. I think you'd really enjoy the journey and characters. It's what superheroes used to be before comics were destroyed. How long is One Punch Man? Is it like a gazillion volumes?
I don't think so, but I watched the first episode for the anime, and it just didn't work for me.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you want to just like give it a bit longer, but it just was first episode just didn't work for me. 2 seasons, about 24 episodes. Somebody said, okay,
that's not bad. I'm embarking on something that's got 1,000 episodes, so there you go.
One Piece.
Yeah.
Damn.
I saw somebody yesterday, and I'm like, yeah, I actually did crack open the manga, and I'm watching the anime. They both suck. I'm like, well, Abyss Walker for $4.99. DNW leaked.
Deadpool and Wolverine.
Deadpool Wolverine leaked. It was the copy is already out there, and it was epic. Can't wait to hear y'all's opinions. And hail, let's fucking go. Yeah, I could say hold off on spoilers, but that's like asking clouds not to rain when it's storming. That's like asking the wind not to blow.
I'm watching it at the cinema. I'm gonna, we're gonna have it's gonna be a day out.
I want the popcorn bucket so bad.
I know. We don't get it over here.
No, that sucks.
Yeah. Well, it's
we
what happens.
didn't get the Dune one either.
Not quite as important as you used to be, old UK. When you ran the world and your colonization, you decided to give it up, and you don't get popcorn buckets. It's your own fucking fault. Dre Clay 12 is a new member. Hail. The super
cocky.
Cocky. Thank you for the $1.
Cocky. Super cocky.
Super cocky. Okay. Third 2 flavors of Nick Weiser for $5. Hail Gary as in chat. What's up, Nick? And of course, Mark Millar. When he'll be here. Mr. Millar, how is Ensi Ura Baba pronounced in Nemesis? Yeah, well, we will find out because it's not pronounced how I just pronounced it. Nemesis available at your local. I bought it again at a local comic shop, Southern California Comics. They also have a booth at Comic-Con. It's my friend's shop. Jamie Dubaldi's cool dude. Sorrow for YouTube is a new member. Hail. Scott Christie Jones for 2 British pounds says, ask Mark how his name is correctly pronounced. Mark Millar. I will ask Mark Millar how his name is correctly pronounced.
People are saying even though it's AR, it's still pronounced Miller.
Well, now
so we're going to find out. We're going to I'm going to
explain to Mark that I will continue calling it Mark Millar because that's what I've been saying for 20 years.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm just too damn old to change. Kind of like Thanos. It's Thanos. Well, there should be 2 N's.
Thanos.
And Piers Brosnan.
Brosnan?
No, you said Piers
Brosnan.
Bronson
or something.
Bronson. Yeah.
It's fucking foreign names. I don't know. Max Von Priestley's been a member for 34 months. Nemesis came out this week and it was great. Hail the legend Mark Millar or Miller.
We'll find out.
Hope you have a great con, Gary. I will. I'll have fun. I always have fun at cons. It's about the people you hang out with and the comics you hunt for. Plus, I'm looking for weird stuff now. So it's not like I'm looking for keys. No, I have dedicated. I was explaining this to somebody at the meetup and I got the weirdest look and I'm like, maybe I shouldn't tell everybody this, but I'm going to tell everybody this. I'm making the inappropriate wall of racism. So I'm going to get all the horrible comic covers that I have collected over the last couple of years because that's kind of what I'm into is like getting 30s comic covers that are just terribly, horribly racist and inappropriate. I'm going to make a whole wall of them. It might even be, that's going to be centerpiece right there.
The greatest cover of all time.
Sexist.
This is Lois Lane getting blacked in a completely different way.
It's going to have a whole fucking wall of them.
Oh my god!
And then just one where it's just like Superman. So, fuck off, Lois. I'm going out with Lana, and she's like Lois will be crying her face off and stuff.
Dude, there's so many good ones. Like Father Christopher Miller shared one, and I had to buy it immediately. It's where Superman is like coming out of the ground in China because he dug through the earth. No, hello, Superman. Hello.
Hello.
Oh, it's terrible. It's terrible. What's up? Nick Weiser is a new member. Jet Spitzer for 8 months says, hey, Gary, it was great to meet you guys yesterday. It was great to meet you too, man. I had fun. John Getz, who's been a member for 13 months. Gary, you should not do the current anime of One Piece. Netflix will redo it. That's what I heard. That's what Perry's telling me too. Perry's like, don't bother. With proper pacing, as they won't need to worry about catching the manga. The current one goes 1 chapter per episode when it should be 2 or 3 per. Yeah, but when's it coming out? Like years from now? I don't know. I'm going to say the most sacrilege thing probably ever to a manga and an anime fan. I prefer the live action. There you go. Boguslawa says, hey, all. Good vibes and chill. Hail to the fellowship. Hail to you. Metal Force Rosie for $1.99. Ask Mark about his Swamp Thing. That sounds like a personal question. Probably something he doesn't want to get into. I'll ask him about Swamp Thing. Dawnbreaker for $10. One Punch Man is totally worth it. And as you got to jump back in, it starts off slow, but damn, does it get good.
I'll give it another go. It wasn't as if I don't think the episodes are particularly long. I think they're about half an hour long tops.
Gary, is the place you eat at San Diego called Roberto's? Yes, it's in Solana Beach. If so, FYI, they opened one in Waco on I-35 for the next time you pass through to Dallas. Yeah, I heard they're spreading far and wide. Did you see the X post I tagged you, Gary? Chris Gore with script notes on a script on the attempt on Trump and the aftermath of by Joseph Malazzi? No, did not. I haven't even checked Twitter this morning, which tells you how crazy my morning's been. But I saw Chris last night. He got mentioned in a Red Letter Media video.
Did he?
Yeah, he did.
Were they trying to shit on him or be nice to him?
I wouldn't have taken it. I wouldn't have taken it nicely. They apologized to Star Wars Theory, right? But then, like the video is actually fine, except for they kind of gave Chris shit for his funeral for a franchise, which was it was supposed to be like tongue in cheek. Right? I don't like the stuff they do. So I just responded on Twitter. I said, "Hey, there's starving children in Africa. Why is Red Letter Media going after Chris Gore?"
I don't know what's going on with them recently, but they're just acting like little petulant children.
Yeah, like I still subscribe. I'll still watch their stuff, but it was surprising, like being like our Ryan's thumbnails. A bunch of us, right? A bunch of our thumbnails ended up in a couple videos that are unrelated, right? And then my Glenn Beck interview, and then they go after Chris. It's like, okay, guys. All right, we get it. So what I'm hearing now is The Acolyte is still bad, but you're not liking it right. That's what I'm hearing.
No, I'm
The
not.
Acolyte is bad. You're not. You're not liking it in the correct way. So it's okay to not like it, but you're doing it in the incorrect way. So you're not liking it wrong.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you.
Who said that?
People who think they're YouTube daddies. I don't fucking know. How
about shut the fuck up, concentrate on the young shit, and don't tell people how to talk, think, or make their own stuff. Maybe they're responsible themselves for that.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. I
like 90% of their takes, though, at Red Letter Media, particularly, 100% on Star Trek.
I haven't watched a Red Letter Media video in probably 2 years now.
Okay. They've
just kind of faded. That's,
Scottish Nerd has been a member for 56 months, says, may not get popcorn buckets, but we do have lots of used correctly. Oh, shit. 1,582 days, Gary. Where is the Picard Season 1 review? Hail all. Scottish Nerd? That'll probably be the last video I ever do on my channel. Will be the Picard. It'll be the Picard Season 1 through 3 review. And also, I what was that?
You did confess to giving up on your Picard Season 1 video.
I moved during like the process, and it was gonna be stupid long because the whole point of it was to be Mullerish about Picard Season 1, and it's not just a movie. So Muller gets 6 hours, he can get 4 to 6 hours out of a movie. Imagine an 8-episode series where each episode has as many bad things as that 2-hour movie that Muller got into. It's so fucking bad. Picard is so bad. It deserves it. It deserves a proper, absolute breakdown. It's just a lot of fucking work. Plus, I moved. I have 20 minutes of it shot.
You seen this? From now on, Marvel Comics will have a QR code to view the final page, and no one understands why.
That cannot be real.
It cannot be legit.
Why would you sell unfinished comics?
I would be.
Put traffic to
This
your
has
website?
got 12K likes on it.
Dude, I am so glad I'm not a retailer anymore. I can't tell you fucking how much I don't miss the comic book industry every day.
This makes no sense, right?
Who's it from?
2,980 followers. There's no ats. There's just that. 12,000 likes. This does not look real. This doesn't look organic in the slightest.
What on?
I'm
590 bookmarks. It was up at 6 a.m. today, half 6 a.m. today.
It's on Reddit, but I don't see an article.
not from
I think
like
there's a link below. There's a link below. Disagree to all of those. Yeah. Softonic. From now on. Yeah. I got the article here.
Yeah. Can anybody verify this? This is fucking insane.
I don't know. That just doesn't look remotely organic, but this is where it's dropping from. Softonic. Once upon a time, that is a couple of months ago. Yeah, this looks like inorganic traffic going to this site. That's what this looks like to me.
Yeah.
Once upon a time, that is a couple of months ago, reading comic books in physical format was very simple. You bought it, you read it, that was it. As an alternative, you could wait for the comic books to be collected in a volume a few months later to enjoy the complete adventure at a slightly cheaper price. Or if you prefer digital copies, nobody does. You had different possibilities to enjoy your own hobby. Digital exists so people can steal it. Marvel, like many publishers, has seen businesses dropping. I thought it's thriving. And comic books are not selling as they used to, partly because the day before the new releases are available for sale, someone has already scanned them or posted the twists and best panels on Reddit and various websites. Okay. There's nothing that can be done against this, and it reflects the current state of things. No. Well, yes and no. I get what the guy's saying, but at the same time, if you're a comic fan and a comic collector, you're buying the physical comic. Because that's what comic fans do. If you're digitally going onto Reddit or you're downloading it from a pirate site, you're not a comic book fan. You're not a comic book fan. You're a Tumblr fucktard or something. But no actual comic collector does that.
No.
We want physical copy in our hand to be bagged and board. We want tangible product. We don't want digital nonsense.
Oh, I just got a message from Flash and he says it's real.
That's fucking. I can't believe that.
No, I believe this is real. I don't believe the traffic to this site is
no, I don't.
Fuck,
no.
Yeah. Oh, dang.
What there? Look at that.
That's from Flash. Yellow Flash.
Dude, I can't. There might not. I can't wait to talk to retailers about this at the con floor, because like you should have heard them when they offered the free digital stickers. Remember that about 10 years ago? There's the stick for one. It made your comic book corners when you got your shipment in, your comic book corners were all like this.
Yeah.
And you got your free digital copy, and they were bitching about that. Now, so digital copies and piracy, I'm fine with. I'm absolutely fine with. I don't think you're a real comic collector if that's what you do and you can afford comics. But if you're in like Russia or something like that and you can't read these comics, and Russia's pretty good at putting them back up, by the way, I think it's fine, because I think it can be a marketing tool. I think if you're really into comic books, then you'll eventually start buying them if you're into these stories, if you have the opportunity. So like, and plus you can't unmake the soup. There's nothing you can fucking do. You can try to stamp it down and make it a little hard, whatever. I don't care about that. But I personally never had a problem with digital. I never thought digital would ever take over comics, because as said, it's a tactile experience. You need to touch them. You need to hold them. You need to smell them. Well, they don't smell anymore. It's fucking new paper.
No, they used to. I know.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's always been, I've always wanted comics in 7-Elevens. I've always wanted them in grocery stores. I've always wanted them everywhere you could possibly fucking find them, so more people can read them. We weren't in a position of like, we can only buy them at comic stores. That didn't work, did it? It didn't work. Gary, will you denounce D-Day Cobra after allegations of him being a straight man? Asked Luis $20. I have to talk to my team of lawyers before I make an official statement. on the liar Jeremy, who was our LGBTQ plus representation. Turns out he likes girls, and I'm really disappointed.
That is disgusting.
Honestly, the only route he has now is to become a girl. So we're gonna.
I do not. About that. I do not associate with geeks and gamers.
Yeah, I do not associate with geeks and gamers except on Fridays. Gary, you're looking to find yourself. No matter where I go, there I am, Travis. Hail, Gary. I am 45 subs away from monetization. Horny Alf. Go subscribe to Horny Alf. Well, do you have the watch time? Because it's not just subs. It's watch time too. Turbo Momo. We heard from Mark. I think he's coming in soon, shortly. I got a DM. Is a new member. Thank you. Kyan Kurji for 700 Martian pesos. Greetings from Kenya. Oh, whoa. I once asked you where I could get Andrew, man, in Atlantic. Oh, Atlanta cutlery is expensive. Yes, it is. That's the one you want to get, though. That's where I have. That's what I have. But it's like $300. But it's a real sword that will cut you. Hi, Gary. Is Comics Division really Jonas Venture Jr.? Yes, he is. He'll get that joke, too. Eddie Brock 9043 for $5.99. Hey, Gary, X-Ray Girl. Gary, do you have a front row seats to the Star Trek and Doctor Who panel? Can't imagine seeing RTD's hypocrisy up close. LOL. Enjoy SDCC. I got to find out when that panel is. Hopefully it's not today. But I will be there. I will be there. How you doing, Ass?
I'm doing good.
Okay.
Just chilling out with the soups.
There you go. We're waiting for Mark to get here. He's just in the door, he says. About One Piece, read the manga first and only then watch the anime to see how they adapted the source material. The anime is just inferior, says Fractal Machine.
But I'm going to butt you here. I don't like reading manga. I don't like it. I don't like reading manga. I don't like the black and white. I don't like the back to front. I don't like a lot of the style of the art. And I much prefer anime to manga. And that's a hill I'm going to die on.
It's okay. The reason they can get so much stuff done so quickly is, for the most part, the illustration is inferior. That's how they get a lot of stuff done. Now, comics has gone completely the other way with the over detailed craziness, which is fine for a Metal Hurlant or some for a book that's going to come out like once a quarter or something like that. But if you want a monthly comic, they need to get back to the art of comics. John Byrne style. Yeah, that's how you succeed. It's the art has gotten a lot better, but it's a lot more difficult. And yeah, it's great. We get fantastic art for a comic that comes out, once in a blue moon. But you know what? Mark was able to do it. This art's pretty fucking good.
That's kind of got shit planned years in advance.
Yeah, he kind of knows what he's doing. Oh, and he loves comics. That kind of helps. But yeah, it's all right. AI will just destroy everything. all of a sudden, all that manga is going to start looking a lot better. Hail all. I'm up at Green Bay after the fun at the RNC in Milwaukee. Cheese curds and brats at Lambeau later today. Enjoy California.
Cheese curds. I love cheese.
Cheese curds are good. Yeah, it's you feel it as soon as you get in here, as soon as you go to a gas pump. And then I went, Melissa wanted a passion fruit iced tea as a passion fruit iced tea.
Okay.
Yeah. Without a sweetener. So I go to stupid fucking Starbucks in California and I get a passion fruit iced tea. And you know what they put the iced tea in? A paper cup with the
Ooh.
paper straw.
Ooh.
What the fuck? I'm like, we're in California. Somebody put iced tea in a paper cup. Jesus Christ. I have a friend at the con. I told him to meet you. What's his name? Chris? Well, I'll be there Saturday. Dearest has left a $1.99 super sticker. Thank you. Kevin Cadfell has been a member for 8 months. Hey, all, hope everyone is having a good day. So far, I mean, it's a bit early.
It's been a good day so far for us. Lots of painting, lots of fun going on.
Yeah.
Mr. Porkchop nearly fell down the stairs.
He did?
Oh,
And did you get it on video?
did you push him?
No, actually, I nearly got it on video.
Oh,
But,
dang it. Why didn't you?
But just missed it, yeah.
God dang it. I'm glad.
I was recording the other direction when it happened, so you could probably hear me go, "Whoa!"
And the way Mr. Porkchop falls down the stairs. Oh dear. Oh my.
Oh my. My God,
I
gosh.
just broke my legs. I'm sorry.
I say, could you help me back up the stairs to paint? I seem to have broken both of mine. And I'm in excruciating pain.
Oh God. He's so
They must finish the job.
Hi, how are you, Gary? Take care, but I am good. I'm having fun so far. Anthony Pritchett for $20 was watching the MTV clip show Ridiculousness yesterday, and they were showing clips on LARPing. Lo and behold, they had a clip of Shad in his chainmail doing his thing. Just wanted to pass that on. Pretty funny.
Really?
Well, okay, number one, MTV still around? Okay, and Shad was on MTV? That's awesome.
I mean, awesome. I knew MTV was still around, but I didn't really know that. I thought it was mostly reality shows. I guess that's kind of reality.
Well, that is a reality show. Ridiculousness. I've never heard of it. That's weird. Logan Bassett for 10 commit. Come on in. Oh, wait. Is it locked?
Bring the coffee.
I need caffeine. Is it Garrett or the Waffy?
I don't know. Hang on just a second. Read a super chat.
Okay, I'll read this. Well, that one's for you, so I won't read that. G2 Bryce for $2 says, my favorite part of printed comics is the adverts.
That's why they were made. They were funny books to sell things. That's the whole point. Yeah.
Mark Fields for $1.99 says, first chat, favorite indie publisher, Rippaverse.
Oh,
question.
There you go.
Yep.
There we go.
There was one for, wait, where's the one about Boogie? I'm saying it like you do. Boogie
2988.
Oh, no, this is not the one, but it's still good. Nathan Cassidy for $4.99. Boogie actually got a liar face tattoo in Comic Sans yesterday, and he did it on stream. No, he did not.
Yeah, he did. He's had it put here so that he can grow his beard over it.
Oh,
so it's not even going to be visible for the vast majority of the time.
He's cheating.
Well, that's what he did. It had it there, liar, underneath, and he very much specified underneath the hairline. So he's just growing the beard back out, and he's going to cover it.
So it's real. It's a real tattoo.
It is a real. Okay. It does look like it, yeah. Because some people were saying there was no noise from the pen. It's fake. But when you saw the guy doing it, he was wiping away blood. So it looked like a real tat to me.
Okay.
Wow.
Garrett,
he says he's going to have it removed when he's got to have it for the same.
When he's not a liar anymore.
Oh, he's got to have it for the same amount of time as he lied about having cancer. So he's got to have it for 2 years minimum. And he goes, I'm going to have it laser removed, but fingers crossed he'll be other places by then.
Why is he spending money when he doesn't really have money?
I imagine Keemstar covered the cost for it.
Dude, get offline. I know people are having a lot of fun with this, but this is going to end so badly, dude.
It's actually
So
revolting. If you think about it, it's just all revolting. The whole thing is revolting. The storyline they're trying to weave out of it is repulsive. The man is an absolute piece of dog shit human being.
The world's full of them, unfortunately.
Oh, amen. Amen.
Logan Bissett for 10 Canadian pesos. Gary, if you're going to watch the One Piece anime, I recommend. I shouldn't have brought up. This whole show is just retitle it One Piece recommendations.
Yeah,
might as well.
I love you guys. I do.
One Piece.
I recommend looking into the fan edit One Piece. It cuts a lot of useless filler and adheres to the manga. I'll say it'll save you a lot of time. I'm okay with filler episodes. It's a cartoon. It's like I'm fine with it. If I get bored with a filler episode, I'll just skip it. I'll just fucking skip it. But I'm cool. But I love it. No, I love anime fans are fucking awesome. You know what? Comics would kill to have 1/1000th of the passion that anime and manga fans have right now. American comics. It's over, baby. It's nice to go into a healthy comic store though, like I did yesterday. A nice healthy comic store, and the common denominator, the commonality between healthy comic stores, I don't know how it is in your area, is if they're successful, their new release racks are incredibly small, like tiny compared to what they used to be. My new release rack, and I did 50-50. I did new releases, back issues. That was pretty much my goal, and I achieved that at one point towards the end. But it was 20 feet in a tiny store. It was 20 feet long, packed, 6 feet high, 20 feet long, packed of new releases.
New releases.
It would be a quarter of that now, maybe.
I went to Manchester.
Yep.
On Friday to see the Batman 85-year exhibition. And then
sweet.
My mate and I, it was good fun. My mate and I decided that we were going to go to comic shops afterwards, right? So we ended up going to a bunch of comic shops in Manchester. Every fucking one of them, Traveling Man, all of them, just kitted out in head to toe with fucking Yahtzee pride flags. Front windows draped down, on the counters draped down, and we're just like, nah, not. It was just why? Just it was ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous, most off-putting thing. And I actually said to my mate, I said, "Are we in a certain part of Manchester?" And he's like, "Oh no." He said, we're just in the there's the shopping center area. We're just in the shopping, and it's just like,
yeah.
So what's with all the flags? And it's just like,
no, yeah. There's a comic store near me in San Antonio. Took my kid, packed wallet, ready to get some supplies, ready to get him some books to read. Saw the Transmission Kids sign in the door, turned right around, said, "See ya. Bye."
And let's just say they're big shops with not a lot of customers walking around. It looks like you could really do with some customers going in there.
Yep.
But literally draped over the shop counters, just dangling down in the window like 1930s fucking Germany. It's just like, what the fuck has this got to do with comics?
We got Heroes and Fantasies near us. It's like it's not a grocery store, but it's in an old department store. So it's fucking huge. None of that shit's in there. Place is packed all the time. They do have a bit too many Funko Pops, but whatever. I'll take Funko Pops over Yahtzee pride flags. Bagel Shark, have you watched Claymore? I have not. I enjoyed it much. Got the entire manga and just started it. Not disappointed.
Nice.
There you go. we're still waiting on Mark. Now, I do have a hard out today, so we're gonna have to
skip it the quickest. Hi, Mark. Great to see you.
See
right,
you.
everyone. We are.
we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I gotta be at con at a certain time, and my family's here, so my little sister, my nieces.
Yeah, boy.
Wayward Noodle for $10. The other day, you said you loved Time Bandits. Your opinion on the Time Bandits, not just loved. It's in one of my top 10 all-time favorite movies. It's absolutely a fucking banger. It's beautifully directed, funded by a Beatle, has a bunch of lovable midgets in it, which we can't have in movies anymore. And watching something that was very British, made by a Monty Python member, that really spoke to kids. It was surreal. It was fucking awesome. Fucking awesome movie. Love that movie.
I saw the most disgusting thing with the new Time Bandits trailer.
Yeah, we said, oh, well, I wasn't finished with that super chat. I didn't finish.
Oh, so I saw X-Ray Girl and Mr. Porkchop review it.
Oh, did they like it? Oh, this looks quite good.
No, I watched the original. Okay.
Okay, so you watched the original
afterwards, and it was way better. Anyways, sorry, I kind of X'd it out, but I could read the rest of it if you're ready.
Yeah, well, it asked what I thought of Baron von Munchausen.
Yeah, The Adventures of Baron Munchausen.
I freaking adore that movie too.
And yes, the new Time Bandits looks like
Uma Thurman's naked in it. Baron von Munchausen. Uma Thurman's naked in it.
Oh, I'm sure there was some Munchausen happening.
Right.
Wow.
No, that is a trippy movie. Yeah, try watching that on acid. Woo! The Paladin for $5. Gary, just grand mix number 1 off my shelf. Grabbed. Okay. Last page is QR code. What the fuck? Damn it, Disney Marvel. Yeah, you know what? Is there a minute that goes by where you don't regret leaving Marvel and DC behind?
No. Well, I'm currently buying Ultimate Spider-Man. And I'm sort of thinking if they try that shit on that, I'm done. I'm done.
I can't imagine the retailers I cannot imagine the retailers like this at all. Hibbs is probably having an aneurysm.
When you are selling a physical fucking comic to somebody and you're forcing them to digitally read a fucking final page, you might as well just piss in their fucking tea. It's the stupidest fucking idea I've heard. This is gonna push people to the world digital comic. This is what they're trying to do. They're trying to push more people to do digital so they can try and go that route because it's a gazillion times less expensive than anything.
It's fucking dude. Oh, let me see. I'm gonna go check see what Brian Hibbs thinks of this, because he'd be the one.
Oh, he probably thinks it's amazing.
No, he. You know, it's funny. That guy turns into a capitalist so fucking fast. Like when they raise minimum wages and shit, all of a sudden, super hippie. I'm gonna, when he passes on his shop, it's gonna be a collective ownership, which will be a total fucking disaster. But all of a sudden, they raise the minimum wage. Like, I can't do business here in capitalism. It's so fucking funny. When it starts affecting you, I can't log into Facebook. I don't want to.
Okay.
So I don't care. Here, we're gonna go. Hopefully, Mark gets here soon, but we're gonna be cut off like really soon. So we're just gonna possibly have to reschedule because of my time limits.
Yeah. Shit. Yeah, you got basically half an hour left.
Yeah, basically a half an hour left. Yeah. So I'll just read soups. Did you guys see Twisters? I have not seen Twisters. I'm going to see Twisters before I go home because too many people are liking it. I thought it was a DEI wet dream was that freckled Jesus brother in the supporting cast. See, I've heard a bunch of people say they love it.
Yeah,
Chris didn't like it though. Chris Gore said it was
know.
like girl boss shit. So we'll see.
Did he? Drinker liked it, did he?
Drinker liked it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Mixed
Honeylock is a new member. Hail. Manuel for £2 I read that one already. Hail as when I said I wish it would stop raining is because I live in Louisiana where it's been storming like crazy. Almost got struck by lightning on Saturday. Holy shit. Yeah, it's like in the South, it's been raining like every fucking day.
That's scary.
Yeah.
The lightning part.
Yeah. I'm in Southern California where it is really nice. This prison has lovely weather. It does. One Punch Man has 31 volumes so far, so not bad. Some of the best fights and character development I've seen. That's what I've heard. It's not too long. Hey, Gary, great seeing you yesterday. Too bad I was too tired to hang around. Hell, it's all good. It's all good. I didn't even go into preview night. I was going to, but then I decided to not do that. Explain to my missus it's okay to see Deadpool at 11 p.m. Mrs. Scotty, it's okay to see Deadpool at 11 p.m. It is. It's completely okay because Scotty, unless I don't know, Scotty, are you 12? Is Mrs. actually mom? Okay. Because I would go, I'm an adult.
No, Mrs. is your wife, is your girlfriend.
I know. But
you know
sometimes
what? She'll just have a good nap. It's fine.
A little bit.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
She's like, sweetheart, you go to bed, love. I'll go to the cinema. I'll be fine. Or she wants to tag along. Yeah, it's all good.
It's not necessarily
I
work all the
just
time.
got the emails,
Sometimes it's like I'm good.
I have to take responsibility for this. Because Mark's PA did say it's 5 p.m. British summer time. I just went, yeah, Gary's confirmed that's the correct time.
I told Mark 4.
I know. But
did you?
Hold on, wait. Yeah, you told him 4. We'd agreed on 4, but then his PA contacted me via email and said,
I was looking
and said it's 5. Just confirming 5 p.m. And I went, yeah, fine, great.
So it's
a cacophony of shit.
You were on winter time, right?
5 GMT. I don't know.
I don't fucking know. I just
know.
Look it up on Google and hope for the best.
But he'll be here in like 5 minutes. It's fine.
Cool. Get half an hour, Mark.
Give it half an hour, Mark. There you go.
This is a super chat square up.
Yeah, well,
featuring Mark Millar. So there you go. Mark Millar.
Hi, Gary. I suggested you and your kick-ass crew should do a show from Mackinac. I almost said Maniac. Mackinac Island, Michigan. Stay at the Grand Hotel. No vehicles on the island. So much to do. And you can ask Chris G about it. Something to look into. Hey, maybe if I'm up there, up north when I'm staying in Wisconsin next year. Wisconsin.
Watch out, those Red Lair Media boys that be after you, shaking their fists.
Yep.
Telling you what a poopy pants you are and how to watch.
Oh, they
how
don't
to
watch
not
any of
like
our
things
stuff.
correctly. You better not like this your way. You better not like this our way.
Only Gary can start a nooner at 9 a.m. Premature Jack streamation. As this one is for the wankers. What are you gonna do when you wake up with morning wood? What he always does.
Deal with it.
38 seconds later.
Yeah.
38 seconds later.
And then back asleep again.
Back asleep like a little baby. There's a fan edit version of One Piece called One Pace. One Pace. You can check out that lines the pacing up. It lines up the pacing with the manga. Some people prefer that. Okay. Tearing the Black for $4.99. Gary, a lot of people are selling their collection at half price books for some OG Power Man for the low. Found some OG Power Man for the low. That's good. Yeah, in hard economic times, comics tend to go up for sale, and you tend to get some good deals. But you got to look for them raw, not those slabbed. Those slab books. Here's the deal with slabs. They're great for collectors. They're great for encasing your book and encasing its value and vacuum sealing it, and that's all great. It's rife with fucking fakes,
yeah,
counterfeits. The comic book collectible market is only slightly less honorable than drug dealers. I have met drug dealers with more honor than collectible dealers.
Wow.
So you need to be fucking careful with that shit, especially slabbed cards, which can be completely made from scratch. A lot of comics. Now, CGC is pretty reputable. I'll say CGC is reputable. I've dealt with them for years and I've never had a problem, but people can still crack those cases and put in repaired books, restored books, straight up counterfeit books. So you gotta, it's better to buy the fucking comic book that's raw. That's it. So that way you can see if the stamp is gone. That way you can see if there's been color touch. All you have to do, I mean, it's a little crazy, but carry around a little black light with you. And when people brought in their comic books, I had my black light, hit the lights. I looked over and I found a bunch of stuff with color touch, cover fusing, all that shit. So you got to watch out because like some of the scummiest fucking people on earth are collectibles dealers in comic books and in collectibles altogether. That's my opinion. I'm sticking to it. I'm gonna need help getting into Comic-Con. Think Chris or X-Ray Girl could smuggle me in somehow? Well, she's not here, so I mean it would be very difficult for her.
I can try.
She can try. I'll pretend to be help. Chris had a stroke and X-Ray Girl as well. X-Ray Girl. Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay. Yeah, Comic-Con, a little difficult to get into. Like I said, it's easier to get a press pass these days.
Yeah.
Fans may recognize the shadowy figure of Darth Plagueis. I love how you memed that NPC commentary with Mahler and Schlurpo episode of BBC. Schlurpo.
I don't know how we memed it, but yeah, I mean the Schlurpo thing was totally based around the upcoming failure of Ubisoft's Star Wars game, which looks like absolute fucking trash. Did you see the gameplay footage? Oh, it looks like the graphics look garbage. The gameplay looks garbage. The lines, the writing looks fucking abysmal. Ubisoft are gonna have a tough year with this and Assassin's Creed Shadows featuring a black man with Asian hip. Oh.
All right. Almost God for $2 Gina's case got to Discovery overnight. Yes, it did. For you Australians, last night it was announced that Disney's motion to dismiss was denied. And it's moving forward, and we're going to get Discovery. So, I mean, I'm not a legal analyst, but I would imagine that Disney would want to settle like fucking crazy, like right now. And it's just a matter of, will Gina do it? Because they're not just taking on Gina, they're taking on Gina and Elon's lawyers. So this is
yeah. And they're not taking on just Disney, they're taking on Disney and an ideology.
Hey, he's going to get out of this one easy. Because I got to go in half an hour. What's up,
hey,
Mark Millar?
I can't believe I figured that out myself. I'm in the house on my own, right? And like, I always need the children to help me. And I'm actually like Orphan Annie. I'm in here myself figuring this out. I did it. I can't believe I made it on.
Oh, I'm going to give you some sympathy clap. There you go. That's good boy, Mark. Good boy.
Apparently, you and Gary were figuring out one time. Me and the assistant are figuring out a completely different time. And looks like we got a fusion of the two. So great stuff.
Fantastic. So I haven't missed anything, have I? Have I missed anything important?
No.
we were talking about One Piece.
I think I'd definitely like Mark's. First of all, Mark, the audience are asking, is it Miller or Millar?
Do you know what? I kind of like how pretentious Millar sounds. You know? I kind of like it, you know. So. But that's not the real way is Miller. The real way is Miller. But Americans say Millar, and it sounds so sophisticated. I like it.
I've always called you Mark Millar. Always.
And I'm going to continue calling you Mark Millar because it's been 20 years and I can't change.
Yeah. Even if you said Miller, I'd still say, were you wrong?
You're wrong.
Do you know where I am right now? I'm actually on holiday. I'm not at home on that holiday. We've got a place in Scotland where we come on our holidays. But get this, I'm actually holidaying in my old hometown, which is really weird, you know? So like I bought a place in my old hometown and I take the children here 4 times a year for holidays and they hate it. So that's where I am right now.
Well, actually, there is a legit question. Marvel Comics are doing I don't know what they're doing, whether you want to call it a gimmick or whatever.
Yeah.
But now on the final page of the physical comic, you've got to scan a QR code to read the final page.
That's insane. Well, you know, I don't have a mobile phone, so I mean, I'd be screwed. I don't. I
can. I did actually get it from Yellow Flash
you
as
and
well.
Chris Nolan. Yeah. You and Chris Nolan are in the no mobile phone club. I want to be in that club someday. By the way,
who's even cooler than us was Tony Scott. I worked briefly with Tony Scott, and Tony Scott didn't even have email. He used to write me notes. He'd write me notes, and someone would take a photograph of the note and then email me his note. It was amazing. Absolutely.
That's awesome.
This is apparently what they're doing now. You get to the final page, you got to scan the QR code for a digital final page to pop up. I think this is lunacy, absolute lunacy.
You're paying for an unfinished comic.
This feels like, you know, Brewster's Millions, where Richard Pryor has to get rid of as much money as possible. It feels like I feel like you're doing that.
Yeah. They're just waiting for that lawsuit of I bought this comic and I didn't get the comic. Oh, well, $30,000 to retain you. Quick, there you go. We've done it. We lost it all. Lost everything.
Dude, this is the work of a 23-year-old marketing executive who just graduated from college and did not major in marketing. Okay.
And it's never read a comic, bought a comic, or anything to do with comics in their life.
That is a terrible idea.
You know what doesn't do that? Back issues. Back issues don't do that. I'm buying a lot of back issues.
Does this have a QR code in the back, Mark?
Oh my God, that would come with a warning, though. Come with a warning.
Warning might be a bit awesome.
You know, my children in lockdown had the taste of like a 50-year-old man in comics. It was weird because they were just hanging out with me all the time, you know, and they really got into Silver Age Lois Lane comics. You know that?
I just bought a bunch. My
kids loved it. The more Lois and Lana hated each other, the more my daughter loved comics. It was amazing. It's really interesting. They tapped into something that modern comics can't do, because my kids don't care about modern comics, but they love ancient Silver Age Lois Lane. You know?
But Superman's baller is fucking them, because it's just like covers of. You love Superman with his arm around Lana, and he's like, "Sorry, Lois, but Lana's my girlfriend now." Yeah, like the front cover, you'd be like, "Okay." Pretty
but
cool.
They're completely vicious. I mean, there's one where Lois thinks she's murdered Lana, like, and she's driven a sword through her heart and all that. You know, I mean, they're really brutal, but the kids love it. The kids absolutely love that stuff.
No, I bought a bunch of them. I don't have them with me, obviously, but there was the giant size one where it's the schemes and dreams of Lois Lane to get Superman and to get to marry him, to trick her. It's so good.
I would love to meet a couple. I'd love to meet a couple where the woman tricked the guy into marrying, you know, finding out a secret about the guy and then tricking him into marrying him, you know. Because that was the basis of all those stories, wasn't it? It was Lois trying to find out his secret and blackmailing him into marrying him.
Yeah. Good old days. Good old days. All right, you're here. Look at that. There we go.
Which one's he going to choose?
If I were you, I'd go back about 10 years, though. See, 10 years previous, they were even more batshit. They were great.
Oh, yeah. Oh, domestic abuse going on there, you know? I love that. Oh, and of course. it was me that found Lois Lane her new husband. Oh, the Supergirl ones are pretty good as well.
So where are you right now? As are you in the UK?
Yeah, yes, sir. No, I'm at home in hot, sweaty UK, painting my house. Well, I'm no longer painting. Mr. Porkchop's doing all that, but yeah, having my house repainted.
Like, I never go to San Diego. Like, I've never been that interested in it. You know, it stopped being a comic convention years ago, and I don't bother. But like, but I went to Edinburgh yesterday, right? And it was so weird because, like I say, I bought a holiday home where I grew up. So I'm the only guy who's not American or Chinese taking photographs of all the local landmarks and everything. And all the people are like, that guy's Scottish. What's he doing? You know, so like, so I'm standing there next to all the people I grew up with. I'm taking photographs there and everything. You know?
Yeah. Don't you live here? No.
Well, funny enough, I'm in my hometown where I grew up. I'm in San Diego for the con and doing the same thing, and I don't recognize anything. It doesn't look the same at all. It's all bigger and bougier, and it used to be a quiet little beach town, and now it's just California, and it all looks the same. It's kind of terrible. So I'm ready to leave.
We never moved to California about 5 years ago. We actually had a house all picked out, and then COVID happens. But I think it's the best move we ever made. You know, we just moved to England instead. Like, California looks like a hellhole, doesn't it? I mean, it looks terrifying, you know? Yeah,
San Diego's not what it used to be. It is. It's what it used to be in the 80s. So It looks it's pretty terrible, and it smells like San Francisco. But the con, hey, we got 2 more years, Mark, and it's gone.
Well, somebody said to me the con was great last year because none of the studios came.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
You know, do you think that's going to be the vibe this year, or are the studios back? Or?
Studios are back, so the Hollywood stuff is all back. So it's going to be Hall H, just crammed, and that's fine because when everybody's in Hall H, then I'm walking the floor, looking for comics. But it's just going to be back to business as usual. But I don't know if you heard, in 2025 is probably going to be the last year it's here. So the hotels give deals to Comic Cons, right? So they book. We're in prime. This is a tourist city, and we're in prime tourist. This block is where the hotels can get the most money, and they don't want to give discounts at all. And they don't need the con. They'll fill those hotels anyway. So yeah, they're probably going to move to Vegas. I don't know where else they go. To be honest with you, but maybe they'll tour around the United States, but it'll never be the same because as you know, they closed down the entire downtown, around the gas lamp, and there's like as much stuff outside as there inside. But the hotels are gonna boot them.
Do you know what? It's funny, I've been reading a lot of stuff about the history of comics recently over the last few months, and I was reading about the 1970, 1971 comic conventions, those very earliest fandom days.
Yeah.
And the guys were delighted because 250 people showed up in the basement of a hotel. And there was a bunch of dealers who made a ton of money because those 250 people really loved comics and they dropped a lot of coin, you know. I don't know if we maybe need to kind of go back to that a little bit, you know, to people who actually really love comics and the dealers do well, the fans are there, you know, like everything sort of booms and busts, doesn't it? So maybe it's no bad thing if it gets trimmed back a little, goes away for a little while, and comes back re-energized with actual proper comic book fans again.
Yeah, if it's people that genuinely love comics, there'll be no DC, no Marvel. it'd be great, yeah.
Do you know what's funny though? I mean, another thing, reading a lot about the past, is I really think where we are right now is 1976. It's a bit like that, where there's been a lot of kind of, you know, not great stuff for a while. It's not like the 60s where you'd Stan and Jack and all the amazing Silver Age DCs and everything. There's some good stuff out there, but it's kind of few and far between and everything. But we're maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 years away from things being awesome again, you know. And unfortunately, in the cycles, I think that's just where we are. But culturally, that's sometimes necessary, and things need to contract, go away, and then something new comes in, and it's all very exciting again. I mean, to think DC, if you could imagine 1978 DC publishing something like Ronin a few years later, or Dark Knight Returns a few years after that, it would have been unthinkable, you know. So, like, I think we're just in one of those dull periods, unfortunately.
But there were signs though, because we had like Denny O'Neil and Neil Adams taking on Batman, and that really sort of turned things around for Batman in the 70s, pushing it into the 80s.
That was years before. I mean, that's your 68, 69, 70s.
Yeah, exactly. So at least there was some foundation there going into some of the big changes in the 80s.
But the 70s was quite a tough period. You know, Marvel were doing 14, 15-page books, nearly all ads. DC, the stuff was really weak. You had the DC implosion and everything. So, I mean, that's what I hope and pray. It might be like the British comic scene where it just goes away altogether. I mean, that's also a possibility. You know, these things do end sometimes too, you know. But I'm hoping it's the former. I'm hoping this is the lull before a wave of excellence, you know.
Yeah. It's a possibility. The difference is, as you know, Mark, is contraction was allowed to happen back then. Like what we did, we didn't have these giant multinational corporations who own the big two comic publishers, which contraction just means sell it off, break off the assets. And instead it was just, no, we're going to get smaller. We're going to file for bankruptcy and hopefully we get out of this. And they did. And they managed to do it every time with when they were able to shift. Now, the direct market really worked for retailing for a long time. It did, but it was never going to be sustainable. We were talking about it earlier. We need comics in grocery stores. We need it in 7-Elevens. We need it in gas stations. We need them. I don't care where they are digitally. I've never worried about digital comics taking over. We need more people reading comics, and they've lost that market share because the market share is still there. I went to MegaCon in February. There was 150,000 people there. The place was packed. This place will be packed. There will be 1 million people downtown. Now, not all of them are comic book readers, but 25% of them could be. And that's a lot of effing people who will buy your comics if they're good. And manga has stolen so much market share from comics that I don't know how they get it back. I don't know.
You do better comics, you know. I mean, I think it's that simple, you know. Like, I mean, there was periods in my life where my buying habits went down a little, never as bad as now, but they did go down. But then it just took Frank Miller and Alan Moore and these guys to appear, and then I'm in, you know. So it just excellence will always find an audience, I think.
Yeah. Well, we need more guys like you who actually like comics, who want to, that write them.
I like, there is nothing I love more than comics. Like, you know, everybody sees comics as a path towards Hollywood. Like, I've been in Hollywood for years. I prefer comics. Like, comics, awesome. You know, like, I love reading comics. I love writing comics. I like comic people. You know, like, it's weird because the internet is filled with, you know, guys fighting each other in comics and everything, and all these kind of camps and all that kind of stuff. But see, in reality, see, when you put a bunch of comic guys together, they love each other generally, you know, in real life. Like, I remember sitting next to a guy on a plane, Ron Mars, who I'd never met. I didn't really know his work. And the two of us, just by chance, ended up sitting next to each other 25 years ago on a plane. We talked the entire 6 hours on the plane. We had everything in common. That's what comic guys are like, isn't it? You know, we all had the same love of the same things growing up, and nobody else understood the stuff we loved. You know, nobody else in our school was into it in the same way we were. So when you come to a convention and you all meet each other, it's brilliant. It's like a family coming together, you know?
Yeah.
Historically. And it's not always the case now, but, you know, that's generally what it was for me.
That's the part I miss. Like when hanging out with the retailers, hanging out with some of the creatives down there, we'd go to, you know, the Marriott where everybody would go have a drink. I wouldn't have a drink, but I'd hang out outside. And that was the best part of it. Now it's fractured. It's fractured, and it's also too corporate. I mean, there's a lot of factors involved in this, but like I said, there's still plenty of people who want to buy this stuff, and it's going to be a very tough code to crack, because I don't think giant corporations owning DC and Marvel is the way, and I don't think they're going to fix anything. At best, they'll license it out, maybe. Eventually.
Which could be okay, you know, because like what Robert Kirkman's doing with Skybound, you know, with those Energon books, everybody's loving it. All those books are in the top 10. Wouldn't that be a lovely new lease of life for Marvel and DC to trim the books down to 15 titles, but they're all great? You know, I mean, I would love to see that. And I think you would sell twice as many. If you slashed the line to 15 books, you would sell twice as many books, I think.
I mean, I'm reading the Skybound Energon Universe stuff, and it is, I mean, particularly the Transformers one, it is brilliant. I mean, that is how you take the lore of the Transformers and bring it back to its roots with the same characters, but put some twists on it. Not ridiculous twists, but there's a big tonal twist, because this Transformers book, for example, is a very serious book. You know, it is like every episode, Transformers, Decepticons, Autobots, doesn't matter, they're getting murked to shit. You know, and you'll say, oh, there's my friend. Oh, shit, he's dead. You know, he's literally just pops up and he's already gone, already out of it. I mean, in the first issue, they just wiped out Bumblebee before it even woken up from Teletron 1. So, Teletron 1. So there was lots of that storyline has been great. So much heart, soul, investment in the characters. You really care. It's like, oh my god, this is like reading a proper comic all over again. Marvel are doing the ultimate stuff.
But that's the addictive thing with comics, because it just takes one great story and it turns it around. Like, you guys might be slightly too young to remember early 80s, like Batman was regarded as dead, you know, really.
I remember.
After O'Neill and Adams and everything in the early 70s, Batman was like dead. I loved it. There was Steve Englehart's amazing 8-issue run and things like that, you know. But there was years where people didn't talk about Batman. And then Frank Miller came in and blew everybody away. Nobody had seen anything like it. Now, here's my big optimistic note, right? Like, I'm always an optimist with these things. The reason Dark Knight, apart from being brilliant, the reason it really worked in the mainstream is all the guys who grew up loving Adam West, exactly 20 years later, had Batman like you'd never seen him before, right? So the world knew who Adam West Batman was, and this was it completely subverted and reinvented.
Yeah.
Now, what we've got now on a scale with these Marvel movies from the year 2000, when they were good, you know, from 2000 to 2019, the millions, tens of millions of Marvel fans, way more than the Batman fans. I mean, this lasted 19 years, that mania, you know. Everybody knows these Marvel characters now. Everybody knows Groot and Rocket Raccoon and things like that, you know, the most obscure characters. When that gets a reinvention a little bit down the line by people who grew up loving those movies, in the same way Frank Miller reinvented 60s Batman, I think we could have an explosion. Like, remember how much you love Downey Jr., remember how much you love Tobey Maguire or Tom Holland, whatever. There's so much love to tap into for whoever reinvents all this, I think, a few years down the line.
I mean, even hasn't Feige just said as well that what looks like is going to be a massive success with Deadpool and Wolverine, that he can reintroduce Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans back into the Marvel cinematic? And I'm sort of like,
it's a little naughty. I don't know.
Yeah. You really wish right now, mate. You are desperate for that, because that's going to be lightning in a bottle. But at the same time, though, Mark, I mean, we've had, like, just think of DC over the last 10 years. Well, over the last, let's say, 12 years, we had the New 52 bombed. Yep. So they had to relaunch, and they did it with Rebirth, which was a great success to start. And then they just almost like 180'd on the direction that we're going. Then they were going to do, then they had to, they were going to go to like the future state thing, the what is it called? 5G. Yeah. They were going to go with the 5G, which then got completely nixed. So they had to filter that into future state, which went nowhere. Then they did the Dawn of DC, which just tanked. And now they're reinventing again. And it's just like, wait a minute, how can you reinvent 4 to 5 times in 12 years and not understand that repeating the same mistakes over and over? And the only thing that you had successful was the start of Rebirth. And what did you do there? And why did you alter that?
Well, I talked to a lot of the guys, and like, I've become this sort of older guy in the industry, right? So a lot of the younger guys phoned me up and they'll ask me advice, you know? And I said to every one of them, every single one of you should jump companies right now. Every one of you. The guys at Marvel and the guys at DC have all been there for quite a while, you know? And you can't reboot with the same teams, you know? You need to mix it up a little bit. So my friends who are working at DC, I said to them, leave DC. And I tell the Marvel guys, go over to DC, and it'll reinvigorate all of them, I think, you know? Because back in the 80s, halfway through the decade, John Byrne and those guys, you know, like they all jumped, Frank Miller, they all jumped to DC. And it was insane. It was like, you know, it felt like a betrayal. It felt like the shake-up, you know, it was amazing. And then a lot of the DC guys come over to Marvel, and then new blood come into Marvel and so on. People have just been doing the same jobs for a long time. And I think it's just probably a little bit of stagnation. And a lot of them are good guys and everything. It's just you do the same job too long and it's hard to get people excited. But if those guys were over suddenly doing the X-Men or something, and the X-Men guys were over doing Batman, it'd be awesome.
Well, that kind of leads us very succinctly into what you're doing, because you've taken your books, which have been done through Image, and now you shifted over to Dark Horse.
Yes.
So, I mean, the stuff at Image was great. Gary and I have spoken about it many times on Real BBC. The stuff that you've done there, Reborn, you know, and things like that. And of course, you've had all your, you know, your massive successes with your kick-asses and all that kind of stuff. How with the phenomenal mini-series that you just had, where you've just been murking off a bunch of your own universe.
Big game.
So yeah, how does that feel to go from Big Game, shifting into bringing Nemesis back and continuing that sort of universe through Dark Horse?
Great. I mean, I've always loved Dark Horse. I've always had a great relationship with these guys, and I had 10 great years at Image. I mean, I really loved it. But we sold Mellow World to Netflix, and Netflix have a pre-existing relationship with Dark Horse and it sounds so boring, but on an accounts level and all this sort of practical stuff. So it kind of made sense to be over there. And Dark Horse, it's just working for us, I'm liking it. I really like the guys. I like the look of the books. And Big Game was the end of one big chapter. And it felt like a good place, just this big restart now, with these titles. And I do like the idea of ducking beneath the waves sometimes for a while. So you didn't see me for 7 months, and then I'm back with 5 new titles this week. Nemesis, but upcoming, Magic Order, Nightclub, the Jupiter's Finale, and Prodigy, So, but I like the idea that, you go to the shop and there's 5 books to buy, I think is kind of cool. I like the idea of just having them all in there at once. It's like my own little company.
I mean, Gary and I were just talking about that before you came in. We're just talking about success of a comic book shop is how big their new release section is compared to how small it is and how many Funko Pops are there.
Yeah.
Well, and now, unfortunately, I think it's a smaller new release rack that make it leaner and meaner, and you're a more successful shop with back. I mean, I'm a purist when it's not a comic book shop if it doesn't have back issues. Period. You're just not. You're a newsstand. You're a bookstore, but you're not a comic book shop.
You also need to have about 4 guys sitting at the back of the shop talking, as well, and making people uncomfortable who come into the shop. I love that.
Yes,
good.
Absolutely.
I love that. You know when somebody comes in and they ask a stupid question, and you can all look at each other, and who's going to answer this? I used to love hanging out in those shops, and being one of the guys behind the counter. It was great. When I was in my teens, I would spend my entire day at the comic shop doing that stuff. I loved it.
Yeah. I remember James at Isotope in San Francisco had a couch. I'm like, I'm going to steal that idea. I'm going to put 2 couches in, and I'm going to have people there all fucking day. And they were there all day. Didn't buy shit. I didn't care. They were just in there reading all my books and bullshit. They couldn't afford it. They were college kids. I didn't care. It was awesome. That's what a comic store was, in my opinion.
And you also learn from other people. So when I was 14, I'd talk to guys in their 20s, 30s, 40s, and they were the guys who put me onto the Steve Englehart Batman, like we said earlier. I'd missed that at the time. So then as soon as I had some Christmas money, I'd go and buy those 8 issues. So it was an amazing business as well. If you make something a club, like I don't know if they have them in the US, but the Warhammer stores here in the UK, where it's a club, you hang out and you're encouraged to spend money and just spend your day there.
It's a bit of a social thing when you're there.
There's a Warhammer pub in a mall in San Antonio. I just found it a couple months ago. It's a pub of
you
Warhammer.
While drunk, do you bring your minis in? And
yes, you can go there. Yeah,
it's
a Warhammer pub. You can do other games there too, but it's a 40K Warhammer fucking pub, which is cool as hell. And so what's happening in some parts, Mark, is the malls are dying here. So they're being rented out, and they're turned into toy shows, and there's like anime stores, and there's in one of the malls you have your remote control cars, and you can race them. So it's all this cool nerd shit in a mall. I'm like, this is the greatest thing ever. This is better than there's still like a hot topic there once in a while, but that's kind of what they're doing, at least where I am, and it works till the mall completely dies.
In the world, I mean, imagine we'd heard this when we were 10 or 12 years old. We're living in the world we couldn't possibly have imagined. I mean, this is the dream, isn't it? Everybody knows who the Marvel characters are. They're having like these, remote control car races and shopping malls and all that. This is the future I always wanted. It's great.
Yeah.
Apart from Rings of Power.
A lot of TV shows.
A lot of TV shows.
Oh god.
I read Nemesis. I went to a local comic store. I'm going to shout it out again. Southern California Comics, owned by Jamie Newbold. He's a good friend. He was like my comic book Yoda. Good dude. He wasn't there though. He was at Comic-Con. And I got Nemesis. And I read it this morning, and it's great. So it picks up right after Big Game. Our boys paralyzed.
A bit worse for wear.
A little bit worse for wear.
But at least it's a lot.
I mean, that artwork is unreal, isn't it?
It's brilliant. Here, let's show a little bit off. I was just showing us some off earlier. Like look at this. Look at this.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
It's all ages. All ages.
So the premise, yeah. Well, my kid will read it. He's adult now. The premise is think if you have, well, for one, if you haven't read Millar World, you have to go back because there is some lore, but there's lots of trades available that you can find at your local comic book store or Barnes and Noble or whatever. But this one is, if Batman was bad and going up against the rogues gallery of heroes, which is kind of a cool concept, but this Nemesis is bad.
The idea
very bad person.
I remember watching in the financial crash. I remember watching The Dark Knight. You know, the seconds of the Nolan Batman movies. And I remember everybody was really worried about Bruce Wayne. You know, they're all watching this and thinking, "Hang on, Bruce Wayne's the guy that would be laying you off. Bruce Wayne's the guy that would be, you know, he'd lose 10,000 employees to save a little bit of cash that quarter and all that. Why are you worried about this guy, you know?" And I suddenly sort of liked this idea of doing a story about the billionaire playboy philanthropist guy who was a city's worst nightmare. So I flipped it, you know. So, I mean, somebody described it as if Batman was the Joker and it's the cops out every night trying to stop this guy in a white suit, you know. So, but it worked out. It's funny. It's a funny one because I only ever did 4 issues, but every time I did a signing somewhere or an appearance, I'd have 20 guys show up with copies of it and everything. There was something about that character and that visual that people liked, you know, so it's good seeing it back. Yeah,
I remember when it originally came out. It was the most popular title at the time when it was coming out. You have so many good Millar World. I mean, you've done some nice work for Marvel and DC, and that's cute and everything. Go to Millar World. That's where my favorite stuff is right now. But yeah, it's really good. I can't wait to read the next issue.
I'll send you a PDF.
I will buy it.
Put up on your web. If you go to your Mark's Twitter, you'll always see Mark will always put it like a timeline of how to read.
Yes,
how to read his stuff. So you'll be able to just like
left to right.
Screen cap that, just go through the books, and boom, you'll be caught up.
So have you guys been to see Deadpool yet? Have you guys went?
Oh, tonight.
No,
Saturday.
Going tonight.
Right. Is it just today it's opening then?
In the US, it's opening. It's in your neck of the woods. I think it's already out.
No, it's out here already.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be able to go on Saturday, so I'm going to go see it Saturday.
Yeah, and I'm actually looking forward to it.
Yeah.
So.
I actually can't wait. And it's been 5 years since I felt that way about a superhero movie, you know. And
yes.
I'm a guy, I went to see Superman 4 times in the cinema, right? You know, so I'm a guy who, I'm there, I'm a loyal customer, you know, I'm there. But the last 5 years, it's like visiting an elderly relative, isn't it? I mean, you're going to see these things at a duty now, isn't it? But this feels like the old days. It feels special.
It's an event. Yes.
Yeah, well, we've been watching stuff because work, you know? Yeah. We've been watching it because we're YouTubers. We got to do streams and content and videos and hopefully give people some yucks. But this is like, I'm actually looking forward to watching this film. Not just talking about it, not just doing a stream or a video, whatever, but actually watch it, actually going to the cinema and having a fun experience.
It's going to be great.
No, yeah. Like normally I'd watch it earlier for the review. I'm watching it with family and friends. Like,
same.
That's what I want to do. Like with this movie. So yeah,
I'm doing what we used to do, which is buying a ton of tickets and going with all my brothers.
Yes.
Like I've got 4 brothers and 1 sister, and all the kids come and everything. And it's been 5 years since we've done that. It was Avengers the last time we all went, because you knew instinctively, don't take the whole family to see the Eternals. You know, you're all going to come out sad, aren't you? You know, so like, you know, but this feels like 2019 or before. You know what I think it is, though? I've got a theory about this. I think superheroes are the hardest things in the world to do in film, you know, because since 1941, when they started doing these things, it was always journeyman directors, wasn't it? It was always just a guy who was doing it in between Lone Ranger and Flash Gordon or something, you know? So like then in the 60s, the 70s and everything, it was generally guys who weren't auteurs, you know, doing this stuff. It was the kind of guy who could just be doing a TV show or whatever next week. With the exception of Tim Burton and Richard Donner, everybody for decades, it was very, very ordinary. So the material was not very well received. But then they started using the Sam Raimis, the Bryan Singers, and all these guys, the guys who, the Christopher Nolans, Ang Lee, the guys who were renowned as auteurs. And then they kind of forgot that's what made this stuff work, because it's really hard to do. And that's why it doesn't work in television generally. And the same with Star Wars as well. It doesn't work because the directors are great directors for real life stuff, but superheroes is so hard to do. And Sean Levy, I think, is a guy who's always been a good director, but he's really gone great the last couple of movies. I love the Abstract and everything, you know. So I think if you if you use proper directors, you get gold with this stuff. Same Lord of the Rings, and Peter Jackson's hands, fantastic. Imagine you just giving it to some TV guy, you know, it wouldn't have been the same, you know.
I think you should give Lord of the Rings.
I think that's the secret.
Yeah. Give Lord of the Rings to a couple of guys that got a singular credit in the third sequel of a reboot of a Star Trek franchise. What could possibly go wrong?
What could go wrong?
What could go wrong? Seems like a perfect fit.
That's coming out.
But you're absolutely right. I mean, you think about when superhero films were like really spoken about. I would have not that I'm saying that you missed it, but I would say I would add Favreau into that as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Because Favreau, you know, he is really interested in this kind of stuff. He is really into, you know, and you could absolutely see the enthusiasm dripping from those Iron Man movies when he brought Iron Man back. But you just have to look at the ones where you said Tim Burton, Dick Donner, you know, Nolan,
Matthew Vaughn.
Yes, Vaughn. I mean, he's a beauty. But they got visions. These are directors that have visions, and they really have a style, an idea about how stuff. Now they're bringing on activist directors. You know, the next Star Wars movie is going to be directed by a Pakistani activist that deals with abuse towards women within Muslim society. And they're like, what have you got to say about Star Wars?
You know, but, I mean, to be fair though, I mean, you never know, it could be amazing. But for me, all that matters is the quality. You know, wherever somebody comes from, all this kind of thing, you know, it's meaningless. I'm a guy from Scotland, you know, who'd guess that I'd be interested in superheroes, but first and foremost, you've got to be a fan of the material.
Well, that's it. She's a documentarian. She herself has said, I'm not a filmmaker.
Yeah.
So you're going to entrust $200+ million budget to make a specific sci-fi. It doesn't work. With Leslie Headland, former personal assistant to Harvey Weinstein, that in itself says plenty. Given $180 million to create a unique Star Wars project, what was it? Fucked if I know, Mark. Because I don't know any of the characters. There was no characterization for anybody. There was no direction. There was no story. There's no vision.
But it's interesting. Comics had a similar situation where in the 80s they had superstar creators, and then in the 90s you had a couple of years of superstar creators, but then it just became people's friends who were writing the big Marvel books, and the sales fell off a cliff. They thought the character was the most important thing, but you always have to remember that Batman was still Batman, whether Schumacher or Nolan was doing it, but Nolan brought more to it than Schumacher, you know?
Yeah.
And it's the same with, you know, any of these characters. If you have somebody who's brilliant at what they're doing, it's going to be great. But what I would do is I think this is what's happening, massively reduce the output down to the 3 movies a year. Don't do any television, you know, because you're not going to get that level of skill in television that you'll get from the cinematic auteurs, and just bring some excellence back to it again. But I think it's going that way. I mean, one thing about the market is it course corrects. And when there's too much, it starts failing. And that's what happened in comics as well. And I had those trim years in the 90s before comics exploded again, around about the year 2000.
Oversaturation. It's absolutely happened in streaming. And I agree. I think they need to start making fewer films, and we need to go back to merit. And this is what happens with oversaturation is you have people who are just in way over their head who don't have it. And is that tough to hear? Sure. But this is, as Robert Meyer Burnett says, and he's quoting somebody else, by the way, it's not show friends, it's show business. And if you want to actually make something good, you have to understand that. You can't blame people for taking jobs. You can't. But the corporations have kept this from contracting. We're living. So remember Schumacher's Batman. Let's go back to Spider-Man 3, Mark. Spider-Man 3 was, people hated it. People absolutely hated it at the time. And at the time, it made the most money of any Spider-Man movie. And they shut it down. They were thinking about a Spider-Man 4, but they ended up shutting it down because they understood, damn, enough people didn't like this. Now, time has gone on, and people would love to have a Spider-Man 4, including me, from Sam Raimi, and they probably should have given him another chance, but at least they listened to the people then and made a decision. It was a shitty decision, but it was still a decision. Now they're just going ahead with stuff, even though people just don't like it. That makes no sense.
I don't get this at all. It's really interesting because I watch a lot of DVD extras, like, You know, everybody, like everybody here, I'm sure I've got a massive DVD collection, you know, from the noughties and everything. And all those extras I'll occasionally revisit. And what amazes me is that all the actors in particular, and the people behind the camera too, talk about how they really just want to please the fans.
Yes.
It's really amazing. They're really subservient to the audience, which is kind of our jobs. You know, we're trying to appeal to people to spend money on this stuff, you know. And something weird's happened. I don't know if it was just hubris, you know, when so much money was being made and so many of these things were out there that they just thought, I'm not taking this seriously. But there was a level of respect that was great. And I'm seeing it starting to creep back in again, though. I think people have wised up, you know, and they've started to realize we shouldn't alienate our foot soldiers. Our foot soldiers are actually an amazing, amazing resource, you know. But I think that's changing. And I think a lot of that arrogance is evaporating with the box office, which is great.
Yeah. There is a shift going on. I'm not sure every studio will adhere to it, but there is. Like, even with, like, it's noticeable, like even with Star Wars and Marvel, because you see them going in opposite directions right now. You see Marvel is definitely making an effort to try to change things. We'll see if it works, you know, as far as the movies are concerned, not the comics, as far as the movies, but and we'll see where that goes. And you see other studios, even with Inside Out 2, you know, it was just a normal Pixar movie, and now it's making absolute bank. And that's actually reacting to the market. What Hollywood and the comic book industry had not been doing is reacting to the market. They have been fighting the market. What you just said, they've been fighting the customer. They have been fighting against trends. And trends are, we just want good storytelling. We're not against traditional storytelling. We're kind of tired of all the nihilism, especially like in, you know, moral relativism in Star Wars is freaking ridiculous. Like, it can be in other things, House of the Dragon all day long, but not in Star Wars. So they weren't listening to the customers. Like you said, they were fighting the customers. And if they simply just stop doing that let's try it for a couple of years, they might find that things turn around a little bit.
I think the great illness that's crept into media, though, is the idea that things have to be universes. Like, when I was growing up, Star Wars was just Star Wars. It was a trilogy of movies, and we maybe get another trilogy at some point. I would can every single Star Wars TV show, everything, you know, just never do it, because it loses event status the minute it's on television. It needs to be in cinemas. And I would do a movie every 2 years and a sequence of trilogies, but never two at the same time. Star Wars should feel like an event. It's something your mum and dad takes you to on your birthday. You know, it's not something you can just switch on any day of the week and watch on TV, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we had 3 years between movies, you know, 77, 80, 83. If you look at Nolan's trilogy, 2005, 2008, and then I think 2012. Yeah. So, you know, so you have 3 years, then 4 years between those movies. And, you know, regardless of how you feel about, let's say, Dark Knight Rises or whatever, still massively received films. Now, just think, this is what makes me kind of feel like, what is going on with cinema? We've got Twisters, which is a sequel to a 1996 film about a tornado. Yeah. and it's blasting all the superhero movies out of the water for the last 5 years.
I've got a theory about that.
Pretty much. So it's gone. Yeah, gone.
My theory is the movie star ended round about the year 2000, right? As everybody says, you know, that's when the corporate brands come in, and the studios love this, because a movie star grows old, gets fat, goes bald, is unreliable in interviews and all that, right? You know, but a corporate brand will last forever. So you just replace Spider-Man under the mask, you know, and you can run these things forever. But there's something about not seeing real people in all the big movies for the last 20, 25 years that it's so refreshing to see Top Gun with Tom Cruise in a plane and he might die, to see Glenn Powell being chased by a tornado and he might die. Like, there's something about seeing human beings again, and I think it's brought about the return of the movie star. So Glenn Powell, like, he's a great guy. I know him a little bit. He seems a really nice person and everything, you know. And he did a movie, Anyone But You, that people thought was going to make 50, 60, 70 million dollars. It made $250 million, right? Then the next thing he comes in, Twister, they thought it's maybe going to open at 30, 40 million opening weekend. It makes 80 million. So people are starting to follow actors they like again, and they're maybe less interested in seeing them in costumes. Well, here's my hot take, right? Here's a hot take everybody's going to hate, but here's my hot take on why I'm slightly, the one upside of so many bad superhero movies over the last few years, right? Here's the one upside of it. And the same with Doctor Who and all these things that we love, having a tough few years, right? When I was growing up, right, in 1977, I was 7 years old, and we're now as far away from 1977 as we were from Tarzan the Ape Man with Johnny Weissmuller and Maureen O'Sullivan, right?
I love
that
those.
far away, right? And I, as a Gen Xer, the Gen Xers, we're never letting go of the things we loved as children, right? Now, my dad in 1977, imagine he'd said to me, "You're not going to see Star Wars. There's a rumor that Johnny Weissmuller's coming back and Maureen O'Sullivan's going to play Jane again. It's going to be amazing, And culture would have atrophied, But we had to let those things go and then new things coming in. I think the one upside of all my favorite things being destroyed right now, right? The one upside of it is that it might mean that we all let go of it and a new wave of new things like the 80s happens, that there's a load of new franchises. So when Ghostbusters in their 70s are being forced back into those suits and forced back out, we're not going to lament these things going in the way we would lament them when they were great. So by ruining everything, I'm finally ready to let go of all the things that I love. Yeah. Which I never thought I would do, but I'm actually ready for some new pop culture.
Yeah.
Because we've bled this stuff to death. We have to let it go and get some new stuff in there.
Well, obviously they can't. The corporations rely on the IP for that built-in audience, and they don't know what to do. They absolutely don't know what to do. So I'm ready as well. I am okay. I think it's great proof to show that you can't go home again. Even if you bring back the original creator, it doesn't work. And even like in a thing like Furiosa, which was good. I liked it, but it's not what people wanted. It's not what people wanted. So just make something completely. I am so ready for new stuff right now that we're just not getting because they're not willing to take the risk. This is where independent movements come in, Mark. And this, it goes through cycles. It does this in music and comics. And it's even done it in TV, 90s. The 90s Twin Peaks and shows like that like change TV forever. So we need that kind of creative revolution again to happen. And like I said earlier, it's been fought by the people paying for it. They're like, no, we can't take this risk anymore. Yeah. And now they're forced into it through contraction. We're finding out in Hollywood, Garrett, my friend Garrett, who works on the channel, just talked to a costume designer. He's going to have an interview out where she's closing down because there's no work. There's no work because all the work is left now because of contraction. Yeah. And there's articles being written about mental health in Hollywood because now it's going to spread throughout the world. It won't be centralized anymore. And ultimately, I think that's good. I think that's really good. And yeah, we had to break everything and lose everything we loved, and it sucked. But maybe we'll still save our culture overall, which would be nice.
That's what I think. I think we're the first generation. We're all about the same age. We're all Gen Xers, and we're the first people who wouldn't let go. Like I wanted everything back. I wanted these things to go on forever. But in reality, if you look over 120 years of pop culture, like Dracula comes back, Sherlock Holmes comes back, and Batman weirdly comes back. But almost everything else isn't cross-generational. Like my dad used to try and get me into the things he loved growing up, my dad was 50 when I was born, so he grew up before the war, and I would watch this stuff to kind of please him and everything, but it wasn't my stuff. Usually every generation has their own thing. Yeah. And I noticed that, like, I'm overstanding looking at the Star Wars toys. I remember a few years ago, I'm standing looking at all the Star Wars toys, and I looked around and everyone had a beard who was looking at the Sar Wars toys, and there was no kids.
Yes. Well, like right before you got on, we just passingly mentioned One Piece and One Punch Man, and man, the chat lights up. So that's the new thing. Yeah. That's it. I mean, it just is, whether we like it or not.
With our video games, though, we did have an opportunity to miss it. Like, we grew up on the OG Star Wars trilogy. We didn't get another Star Wars until 1999.
Yeah.
For us to go from 1983 to 1999, being young, felt like an eternity.
Yes. Yeah.
So it felt like an eternity, but it's only actually 16 years.
Yeah.
And then, though, if you equate that to today, Iron Man would have already been out if you take 16 years off. That's how crazy that is. So we had the opportunity to miss franchises. You know, we missed Star Wars. We missed the couple of Ghostbusters. You know, we missed these things. We missed Beverly Hills Cop or whatever.
Yeah.
Now, everything is getting rebooted instantaneously, and you don't have the opportunity to miss anything. Nolan's Batman ends, and then immediately Snyder's Batman begins. Snyder's Batman ends, and immediately we get Matt Reeves' Batman come in.
And then another Batman.
Yeah, nobody's and
coming.
then there's another one coming in from James Gunn, and we're not missing anything. Superman redone, this redone. It's like there's no pause, there's no breath. You're not giving the audience chance to actually restock, re-energize, to give a toss. And I think one of the reasons why Twisters 2 is doing so well, or Twisters is doing so well, is it's a normal film.
Yeah.
You don't need to see the first one.
Yeah,
it's almost an original film for this year. In a year of sequels and prequels, it's like, well, you don't need to see that one. Tornadoes still happen. Thank God they didn't give us the origin of tornadoes.
Disney would have.
Or a spin-off movie about cyclones and typhoons, you know. So.
Yeah. Oh, that'll be next.
But you know, I think the
Hurricane.
cinematic universe it really fascinates me because everybody suddenly wanted a cinematic universe, and you realize Marvel was a unique thing, and it was only 10 years. It was 2008 to 2019 is the only time it worked for Marvel. So in the history of cinema, it's never worked, really. You know, like people just they like to go and see The Godfather and not have a Luca Brasi miniseries on TV at the same time and everything, you know. So I think one healthy thing, hopefully, that comes from all of this is we stop doing these stupid universes
and make it an event, like you said. So here's the problem they have is like Deadpool and Wolverine, absolutely event. It's an event because we're looking for the cameos and we like Deadpool, and we're finally, after 24 years, we get Hugh Jackman in a damn costume. Like what took so long? But they need to get back to where a Superman movie with Superman and Lois Lane is an event.
Yes.
And I think that really goes back to what Az says. We need time to miss it and to care, but you know, I don't know if that's going to happen again. We'll find out. We'll find out.
I'm excited about this Superman movie. I'm a huge Superman fan, so I'm always, you know, but like everything about this just feels right, though, doesn't it? There's something about this Superman movie that just feels right.
I think it feels all wrong. I mean, you've got a Superman movie. You've got Hawk Girl, Mr. Terrific, Guy Gardner, The Authority. What are they? Why?
Yeah, can we just have
we need to have a Superman film with Superman,
nothing
Lois,
against The Authority, Mark.
Jimmy. Yeah, I know. we know that you wrote. You know, you wrote part. You know.
But this is only speculation on my part, right? I haven't spoken to James about this, but I think this could be very clever what they're doing here. Like the obvious thing to do with Superman is to make him the first superhero, and we see him in Smallville, and then we see him coming to Metropolis, and it's the standard formula, which is fresh for a lot of people because most people didn't grow up with Superman the way we did. But I think he's doing the Kingdom Come thing here, which I think is quite interesting, which is this Superman franchise is arriving in a very crowded superhero market in the actual media. And I think that's his commentary here, that it's all these dark superheroes, you know, who are increasingly violent and so on. And Superman shows up and he's unlike anybody else. And it's a completely new thing. It's so old, it's completely new. And it actually is going to feel magnificent, I think, when you see this bright colored guy and amongst all these kind of dark guys with corporate logos and all that kind of stuff. I think there could be something special happening here. I might have to eat my words, but I've got a good feeling about it.
I hope I'm wrong.
I understand where you're coming from with that, and that would be nice, you know, wonderful to see this bright light. However, because we have the Kingdom Come Superman logo, or at least the pre-Kingdom Come, because the Kingdom Come is actually black and red. We know, and if he's going to go down the route of Kingdom Come, Magog, and all of that, gulags, all of that business, we're not going to get Kingdom Come. There's no way.
I don't mean that. I just mean that first issue where it was the superheroes almost looked like villains. They were all dark and in leathers and all this kind of thing, or they were greedy corporate guys and everything. But Superman shows up, and then you leave all that behind, and it's just a big fun Superman story.
So you're saying reverse Kingdom Coming. So instead of going from the bright light to the darkness, we're actually going to go with the darkness there, and the Superman's bringing the bright light.
I think Superman's going to leave all that behind and do Silver Age style stories. The fact it's going to have Brainiac, it's going to have Crypto, it's going to have freckles on Jimmy Olsen and all that. You know, I think we're going to see something that children are going to love. And for me, that's what's really been missing from the DC movies. Like, my kids are superhero fanatics. and I can't take them to any of these DC movies. They're way too dark for them, you know? So I have a feeling you're going to get the most upbeat, fun Superman film that your 7-year-olds or 10-year-olds or whatever are going to love.
I hope you're right.
I hope you're right, and I hope we're wrong.
And I don't mean that facetious. I really do hope
Really,
you're right.
That's all I want.
I need a bit of hope right now. Yeah.
Don't give me hope. All right, we got to get some soups, and then unfortunately, I'm on a time limit, so I got to get out of here because I got to get to the con. Excuse me. I'm dying here. I used to pronounce...
You're emotional. It's fine, Gary. You're
emotional. I'm emotional. Toon Zone. This is a rant from Rumble for $2. Because we're dual streaming on Rumble, by the way. I used to pronounce Mark's name as Miller, but Gary caused me to start pronouncing it Millar. Did he steer me astray? No, my pronunciation is correct. Okay, don't listen to Mark. It's Millar.
I always tell people, I get asked this quite a lot of conventions, and I always say Chang is pronounced Chang. You know, so and it always throws them. The Americans in the audience are always like, "What?"
Well, look at how my last name's spelled and see if anybody could guess it if I hadn't said it. No way.
Buchler?
It's Beekler. The U is silent and the CH is a K, and it's derived from Buchler with like an umlaut, and they at Ellis Island they just said no, we can't pronounce this crap, and they made it something worse. So
Americans having problems with U's every day.
That's like Mick Shez-Pitalik. I mean, yours is up there with Mick Shez-Pitalik, isn't?
Yeah. What if we say Beekler backwards? What happens then? Do you disappear?
I disappear. There you go. Let's go. We're gonna get some from Mark here. I gotta make sure I say Glasgow.
Yeah, don't say Glasgow.
Don't say Glasgow.
Oh my God.
Glasgow. Does Mark remember the Glasgow comic store, aka Books and Comics?
Not only do I remember it, right? It's like that was basically my entire teen years going there. And I'm still great friends. The store closed about 25, 30 years ago. And I'm still great friends with the guy who owned it. And I'm meeting him for a pint tomorrow. Now I'm back in Scotland. Because he's a great friend of mine, John McShane. A big shout out. He's the guy who is the glue that holds the entire British comic scene together. Like every single one of us, he's the guy who let us use his photocopier and things to send our submissions into Marvel and DC in 2000 AD and everything.
Wow.
An amazing guy.
Excellent. Well, tell him we said hello. And don't,
you'll
be
listening right now. You'll be listening.
Oh, right on. Cheers. Cheers to Glasgow. Matthew Hammond for $4.99. Mark is the only visitor that can understand people in Scotland. This is true. There was
Drinker, mate. I think Drinker's gonna have a good stab at that.
I love telling this story. So we were at the meetup in the UK, and the guy who runs, I think it's the Glasgow Comic Con, starts talking to me about bringing me over. I can't understand a word he's saying. So I'm Drinker, come over here and translate. I got Comic Con, and I didn't get anything after that. And he comes to our meetups all the time. He's great. But thank God Drinker was there to translate for me.
You know, this happened to me at DC when I was working at DC years ago. My uncle passed away, right? He died quite suddenly. And I said to my editor, I said, listen, I might be a little bit late with this story. It's my uncle's funeral. I'm going to be off work for a couple of days. I'm helping my aunt out and everything. And he said to me, that's awesome. Right? And I was like, what? And then he hung up. Right? So then I phoned somebody else at DC. And I said, I was just talking to this guy, right? And he said to me, he thought it was awesome. My uncle's dead, right? And he says, promise me you'll never tell him this, but nobody knows what you're saying. Nobody knows what you're saying.
He literally sympathied. Yeah, okay. He just sympathy. You know, it's just Oh, yeah, it's great. Yeah, no idea what he said. No idea.
I've known these guys for years. I thought we were all really good friends. You know?
Everybody went, fuck you. What did I do?
I'm guessing Mark's kids dislike Scotland as it's probably pishing doon rain right now. From Scotty for $4.99.
I thought, you know the way like in some Star Trek worlds and things like that, there's planets where it just rains all the time, so the locals don't know that there's anything else. That's the way I grew up. I thought rain was Earth's atmosphere, you know? So like I'm kind of used to it, but my kids, they've tasted a little bit of sunshine. Can I tell you something cool my kids discovered yesterday, though, that I think you guys will appreciate? We were in Edinburgh yesterday, right? And we were doing all the tourist stuff, like I said, the only Scottish people doing the tourist stuff and everything. And we found Greyfriars Bobby, you know, the statue of the dog, Greyfriars Bobby in the middle of Edinburgh.
Oh, yeah.
Behind it, there's a graveyard, right? Greyfriars Graveyard. And it's where J.K. Rowling wrote a lot of the Harry Potter books, right? And it's right next to the little cafe that she wrote the Harry Potter books in. Now, some old guy just appeared out of nowhere, right? It was a bit creepy. And he offered to give us a tour of the graveyard. And I thought, this is how I die, right? But I'm going to go along. So he gave me a little tour of the graveyard. And you know that a lot of the characters, the main characters in Harry Potter, were based on the tombstones that J.K. Rowling. I didn't know this. So Tom Riddle and Professor McGonagall and all these people, they're all dead bodies inside this graveyard. It's the coolest thing. Did you guys know this already? Yeah.
I'd heard something. I did something about that.
I did not know this. I'm going to go there now. When I go there next year, I'll be there.
So there's all these people, there's all these Americans doing selfies and things down beside graves. It's so wrong. It's so wrong.
That's my bloody uncle, you bastard.
So even my own children, they love Harry Potter, so they took about 200 pictures of this graveyard. So like their phones is just filled with mausoleums and corpses. You know?
That's brilliant. Brendan Lucas for 10
to get names though. Great way to get names.
It is. That actually is a good idea. Hey, Mark, I'm a big fan of your Sonic the Comic run. Love the story where Knuckles has to get his gran to the job center in Mary Hill just after drinking half a bottle of Bucky.
Do you know, Sonic the Comic, that paid for my wedding when I was 23. Like, I had no money to pay for my wedding, and I wrote 6 months of Sonic the Comic in 2 weeks, and it paid for my entire wedding. I'll always love it. I'll always love it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Darius White for $10. Mark effing Millar.
Yeah.
Does it again. BBC does it again. Would love if Nemesis came to live action, although not in Hollywood's current climate. I always pictured Matthew McConaughey as the titular character. Am I off?
That's a great call, actually. You know, like we get it back. When I say we, I mean Netflix, because Netflix bought my company, 7 years ago. And Netflix get it back from Warner Brothers, I think round about September or something. And it's a real priority project when we get it back, because it's such an easy concept, isn't it? It's a good one, and the producer who we'd like on this is an absolute beaut, you'll know once we announce it. I'll tell you privately, that I realize how important a good producer is, somebody that will just steamroller over any silly idea, and this guy just gets it. He tried to get the rights to Nemesis years ago, but we'd already sold them off. And he's had a passion to do this for over a decade. So yeah, that's a priority one for us.
Okay.
All right. We're going to have to get the rest, I'm sorry, in a square up. Oh, wait. We'll do a Knockmamon. That'll be the last one. For 50. I think you misread what I was trying to say in my donation in last FNT, wanting to come to your studio or something. I was saying that if you're going to come to Wisconsin more often, we might run into each other. Sorry for the misunderstanding, because you apparently thought I was trying to stalk you or something. I was just saying it to be funny, to spot a YouTuber in the wild. I mean, I'm sorry I misunderstood. Knockmon, I love you, by the way. I'm sorry I misunderstood I'm going to come over to your studio part. I love you, Knockmon. It's all good. Screw it. You can come over. It's all good. We'll have you over for dinner. Okay. Mark, let's do it again. Sorry for the time mix up.
That was my fault. I had no idea what I was doing, but I got there in the end. But thanks for having me, as always,
Hey, it's you Gary had your issues. Me and your PA, we had ours. So everybody was fucking up left, right, and center on this one.
It's on brand for this channel. But thanks for coming back. Is there anything you want to tell the fine people? What you got coming out?
This week, in fact, Nemesis, 2 weeks time, Prodigy and Nightclub 2, then Magic Order, and the finale of Jupiter's. So I mean, don't waste your money on other things like food and all that kind of stuff.
Don't.
It's awesome.
They're all overpriced anyway.
Yeah.
And if you can't afford it, go to the Russian pirate sites. You know?
There you go. There you go. But if you can't afford it, support your local comic shop, please. Please. Thanks, X-Ray Girl. Thanks to the Modrotics. Thanks to everyone with the super chat and donation. I'll pick up the rest of these by the weekend. I'm gonna fit another stream in there somehow. If you're gonna be at Comic-Con, I'll be walking around. Come up and say hi. Saturday, I'm at Big Man Comics to sign for an hour. Buy lots of Millar books. Hey, if you want to know what's going on in Millar world, go to his website. All right. And it gives you a reading order like we talked about earlier. There's trades to be found. There's a whole world, and it's fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic.
And my Twitter page, Mr. Mark Millar, and I guarantee I never talk about politics ever. I'm never going to lecture any of you, so just come along and enjoy the comics.
So yeah, can I hit you up?
Comics though.
Hey, Mark, can we? I didn't talk about it, but like I really want to talk to you about Clarkson's Farm sometime. So like, if we could do a stream on Clarkson's Farm, that would be kind of a
part-time
dream come
farmer
true.
as well, you know. So like,
yeah.
So I love
So
it.
if we could talk about the greatest show on television, I mean, The Gentleman's pretty good too. So.
We should maybe do it while like a live stream while I'm lambing or something like that. You know?
Wow.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Oh, yeah.
Let's do it. You should do it. You should do
There must be
Millar's
some
Farm.
niche-
Millar's
there
Farm.
must be some niche
Millar's
comic
Farm, yeah.
audience, you know. So.
Az, what do you got coming up?
Painting
Oh boy.
and Sunday afternoon tea on Sunday and Sunday fun day.
Awesome. Gentlemen, thank you very much. I appreciate you. And everybody in the chat, we appreciate you. This will be on Nerdrotic Live in a little bit. So catch you later. Bye-bye.
See you guys.
All right, cheers, Mark.
That's it.